2, 1, let's go.
Try to run from the switch, we catch him. Dumb ass ain't make it too far. Whole lot of shots in the car. I shoot to the mall. I'm in the cut with a up, try to fuck me up. Gotta stick with a drum. They like, who that? I'm throwing shots, they try to run. True it.
You start to freeze, and so it looks you right between the eyes.
Jumped off the bench and I turned into a star. I'm a baller. Anywhere I go, my gang, they know who we are.
You can't even see me on FaceTime. Bitch just asked if I'm the one to DM on the fence. That ain't me, bitch, that's fake John.
Money, Wally P, shout out my label. That's me. I own 100% of my cuts. Bitch, nobody taking a
Back at it again with another reaction video, man. Back at it again with another banger, man. Second and last reaction video of the day. Second banger of the day, man. I ain't gonna lie with you. WatchMojo.com has been stepping up their game. I ain't gonna lie. 10 worst psychopaths to have ever lived. 10 worst psychopaths to have ever lived. So if you could rate your scale on a 1 to 10 how much of a psychopath you are, be my fucking guest. But man, don't be put on this list. That's all I'm saying, man. Y'all let me know how y'all liking these reaction videos. I ain't gonna lie, I'm having a great time doing these reaction videos, man. 24.7K subs already. Crazy work, bro. Crazy work. It's only been like 5 days. And we already, yeah. It's looking live, man. It's looking live. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Let's get into it. Hope you guys having a blessed day. Stay lit, stay on top of your grind. Last time I get to that bag, go get that bag. When I go get it, nobody can get it for you, man. It's currently 6:04 p.m. Expect the videos to be dropping around 7:30, 8 p.m., but they will be dropping very, very soon after I'm done with this today, man. I ain't gonna lie. April 24th. It's already April 24th. Where the April girl, I don't know. But let's get in tune, man. Let's see what's going on. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So we're taking the dream for your average person in America or wherever they are and saying for 3 days you can become Pablo Escobar.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're examining the most notorious people who exhibit signs of sociopathy, those being antisocial behavior, manipulation, and a lack of empathy.
You think about getting out of here? Well,
What is that, Ted Bundy?
well, legally, sure.
Bernie Madoff.
So is this easy money, would you say, that you're making with Madoff?
Easy. Easy peasy.
When it comes to financial manipulation, it's hard to beat the story of Bernie Madoff.
What's going
Madoff
on
had
here?
it all on Wall Street.
What
He
is
ran
going
a
on?
multi-billion-dollar company and held sway over the NASDAQ stock exchange. But his own hubris eventually got the best of him.
Madoff was a family-dominated firm, so Bernie was the top of everything. His family had all the key positions.
Madoff confessed to his sons Mark and Andrew that he had orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in history through his investment securities firm, swindling investors out of...
That's why you can't tell people shit. I understand it's still a bad thing or whatever, bro. But you just... Why are you telling people this stuff?
billions.
You should have kept that shit
Mark
to yourself.
and Andrew then turned on their father and reported him to the
Stupid,
FBI,
bro.
who arrested Madoff on a charge of securities fraud.
It's 'cause
he
they
eventually
wanted-
pled guilty to
you feel me?
11 felonies and was sentenced to 150 years in prison,
Oh,
where
yeah,
he
you're
died
done.
in April 2021.
The office has been secured. We have Bernie Madoff in
They
custody.
probably took
and we just
over.
know a lot of money is
I ain't
missing.
gonna lie with you.
Our biggest problem was we don't know how it happened.
Richard Scott Smith.
Why would you tell
to
them
talk
that,
to you
though?
today because I want to get my story out, and I want everybody in the world knowing that I'm not the person that they've claimed me to be.
Fans of Showtime's Love Fraud may recognize the name Richard Scott Smith, as he was
Love
the primary
Fraud.
subject of the 4-part documentary. Smith was a serial con artist, running numerous online romance scams and ruining the lives of multiple women. These women appear in the documentary, sharing their harrowing stories of being duped and misled.
You know, I may hate him for all these things, but
What are you talking about?
I wouldn't
What
have
is
gotten
this?
in so deep if I hadn't thought I loved him.
Smith would use a fake identity and
You
marry his
dead?
victims, then use their financial information to obtain a line of credit. He would then flee, off to marry someone else, leaving his previous partners both heartbroken and in severe
Damn,
debt.
dude.
Smith was known to have married at least 10 times before he was...
Dude literally is a fucking player. That's more than a player. That's a pimp. That's less than a pimp, more than a player. That's a psychopath. Let's just put it that way. Dude's a
arrested at the end of
psychopath.
the series.
I'm human too. I've been a victim, Rachel, to things that are not true.
Anna
Shut
Sorokin.
the fuck up.
I'm trying to like make my story to be like, oh, I made a mistake, but I'm trying to turn this around without trying to glamorize the mistake itself.
Financial schemes are getting harder by the day thanks to rapid technological advancements, but they still happen. Just ask Anna Sorokin, a Russian-born woman who defrauded various institutions of nearly $300,000. Having emigrated to New York in 2013, Sorokin quickly became a master manipulator.
She doesn't go for the big money right away. It's not like she surrounds herself with, hedge fund moguls. She surrounds herself with cool.
She invented a new identity, Anna Delvey, and forged financial documents to appear like a rich German heiress with access to a multi-million euro trust fund. With these documents, Sorokin secured massive loans, which she used to sustain a lavish lifestyle. However, her deceit was exposed when she duped her friend.
So I'm guessing that all these people that have to do with psychopaths is really just money being stolen from people.
And Rachel Deloche Williams of over $60,000. Williams alerted the police, leading to Sorokin's arrest in a sting operation. She subsequently served 2 years in prison.
I mean, you took advantage of
2 years?
I definitely did, yeah. And I was younger and I learned from my mistakes.
But did you?
I did,
Did you learn from those mistakes? I mean, are you not going to do anything like this ever again?
Absolutely not.
Billy McFarland.
She lied.
But was it more to prove yourself or was it more for money?
It was to prove myself, and once again, I was totally wrong, and I lied to investors to get money.
Called the poster boy for millennial scamming by Vanity Fair, Billy McFarland is widely known as the man behind the ill-fated Fyre Festival. Well, ill-fated isn't the right word, more like manipulative. Taking place in the Bahamas, the Fyre Festival was marketed as a luxury music event with villas, gourmet food, the whole 9 yards.
I think we chose the right island. We got ours for $10 million, freehold land, no lease. We own the land forever.
Visitors paid good money to attend, but upon...
What is going on here? I was about to say.
The whole 9 yards.
Why is it like...
I think we chose the right
island. It just went all into one corner.
We got ours for $10 million, freehold land, no lease. We own the land forever.
Visitors paid good money to attend, but upon arrival, they were met with a horribly planned disaster that bore no resemblance to the promised opulence. Tons of lawsuits emerged accusing McFarland of fraud, and he was found guilty on 2 counts. He was ordered to pay $26 million in damages and served 3.5 years in prison.
Before we had the worst luck,
million
I think we had the best luck.
It's nothing.
Like it sounds crazy, but
him,
so many things had to go right to make it this big of a failure.
Joe Exotic.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
The Tiger King himself operated the Greater Wynnewood Exotic Animal Park in Oklahoma, known for its prominent display of large cats. And as chronicled in the famous
If y'all even remember, bro, a lot of these shits that are like, they're saying in this shit, they touch base on in Netflix series all the time, for real.
Netflix documentary, he had a fierce rivalry with Carol Baskin, the owner of Florida's Big Cat Rescue. Exotic displayed numerous sociopathic tendencies, which were on full display in the documentary.
All these people think that everybody else in society are abusers but her. I mean, she's a master marketer. I'll give her that.
Despite his purported love for animals, he was continuously alleged to have mistreated those in his park. Not only did he publicly accuse Baskin of killing her missing husband, Don Lewis, he also put out a hit on her, which failed and led to his arrest. Exotic was convicted on charges of animal mistreatment and attempted murder for hire and sentenced to 21 years in prison.
And I get letters from 8-year-old kids to 95-year-old grandmas. And every letter says, it's because I was unapologetic, I stood up for what I believed in, and because I'm not ashamed of who I am.
Dorothea Puente.
Well, those people need to get their shit together.
Known as the Death House landlady, Dorothea Puente sounds like someone out of a fairy tale. She opened a boarding house in Sacramento and seemed like an upstanding member of the community, donating to various charities and using her boarding house to host AA meetings. She also aided her elderly guests in setting up their Social Security checks. However, this was all part of Puente's grand plan.
This is what we would call the death room. This is where she brought her victims after she had induced drugs into their alcohol.
Throughout the 1980s, the matron killed 9 guests of her boarding house, buried their remains in her yard, and cashed their Social Security checks. It shows that Puente was a maniac who was highly aggressive and driven primarily by her own financial gain.
I spent 15 years as a homicide detective.
Bro, what
and in those
the
15 years,
fuck?
I
never
had seen
seen
many
something
victims
like
of
this.
homicide, but none of those compared to what I found when I was digging through the yard.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Every person should have the ability to get that type of test.
And speaking of people willing to deceive for financial gain, let's talk about the infamous Elizabeth Holmes. Like Bernie Madoff, Holmes manipulated investors with her company Theranos, which claimed to have revolutionized blood testing with a fancy new machine. However, this machine never actually worked. Holmes not only lied to investors about the company's capabilities, she also lied to her own customers through the machine's bogus results.
What I know is that I've put the best people in place to be able to investigate every aspect of this and ensure that we meet the quality standards that we hold ourselves to.
Theranos raised more than $700 million, and Forbes valued Holmes as the youngest self-made female billionaire in American history. But it all came crashing down when investigators looked into the company and uncovered a massive web of deceit. Holmes was charged with fraud.
Bro, when you're making that much money, the feds are gonna be on your tail every 2 seconds. What don't you
sentenced
understand?
to 11 years in prison.
Are you stupid?
If a female leader can build a company from nothing to something that impacts people's lives every single day, it's like there's nothing we can't do.
Diane Downs.
They kept telling me, if
Yeah,
you just
on your
remember, they told me I had
dumbass.
voids in my memory, that there was 25 minutes of time missing, and that I was hiding something, protecting something.
Called a deviant sociopath by one psychiatrist, Diane Downs gained notoriety for a particularly heinous crime conducted in 1983.
crazy, I ain't
On May
gonna lie.
19th, Downs shot her 3 children, then wounded herself in the left arm. She subsequently rushed them to a hospital, claiming they had been the victims of an attempted carjacking.
He did not take time to point the gun and shoot me, obviously, because he would have shot me the same way he did the kids.
However, hospital staff was immediately suspicious of her story. 2 of the children survived, but one tragically passed from her injuries. Following an official investigation, Downs was arrested 9 months later and convicted largely on the testimony of one of her surviving children. She supposedly committed the acts because the man she was entangled with didn't want kids in their lives. In 1984, Downs was sentenced to life in prison.
To my complete surprise, Diane was non-emotional, not a tear in her eye.
Ted Bundy.
Clearly, they're people. Clearly, they're flesh
we all
and
knew
blood
Ted
and
Bundy
have
was nuts.
all the characteristics of
That's all
human
I gotta
beings,
say.
but he would not allow himself to feel those emotions for the victim.
Ask any professional and they will tell you that Ted Bundy was as mean as they come. His own attorney, Polly Nelson, called him, quote, the very definition of heartless evil. Biographer Ann Rule said that he was a sadistic sociopath. Even Bundy labeled himself as the most cold-hearted son of a gun you'll ever meet. Gun is our own word.
If someone's crazy enough and nutty enough to do something like that, I can't stop him. There's nothing I can do.
Bundy was an attractive man who skillfully manipulated his persona to enchant women, often luring them into his car, where he would restrain and kill them. Even after his arrest, Bundy tried to maintain his innocence, weaving lies for lawyers, the media, and visitors alike. However, as the truth closed in, he eventually realized the game was up and confessed to killing 30 people.
I deserve certainly the most extreme punishment society has, and I think society deserves to be protected from me and from others like me.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest notifications. At his 12th parole hearing,
If you hold the negative up to the light,
Charles Manson.
you don't see the
Okay,
light,
that
you
makes
see the
sense.
negative. So I'm a reflection of your negative. There's no doubt about that, and I can handle that also.
At his 12th parole hearing, Charles Manson was said to have a, quote, history of controlling behavior. That is putting it lightly. Perhaps the most infamous cult leader of all time, Manson was the head of his eponymous family, which gained notoriety in 1969 after killing actress Sharon Tate.
Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like
But Tate was just one of 9 victims, most of whom Manson murdered by proxy through his manipulated family members. His motive is still ambiguous, but author Vincent Bugliosi believes that he intended to start a race war. At the aforementioned parole hearing, the panel also indicated that Manson had no remorse for the crimes and harbored a total lack of empathy. He died in prison at the age of 83.
I'm not ready, Your Honor. I need more time.
What do you make of these stories? Let us know in the comments below.
Are you dead surprised?
Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo.
That nigga's weird, bro. That was actually a good movie too. A good video too. I ain't gonna lie, man. Y'all know how I like that reaction video, man. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification button. As always, I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace and love. We out.